Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad, your best place for weekly content on young American soccer players playing overseas. My name is Austin Van Churn.
My name's Patrick Ferry.
And welcome to our show.
All right, all you viewers, it's definitely good for myself to be back, Austin. Thanks for covering and flying solo for a little bit there, but it definitely has been a little bit of a lull in the action, I guess. A little quieter period. I know, with Germany and some other leagues and their winter sessions and trainings and certain breaks from the season, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of action going. The U.S. has got that January camp. I know they're going to be in IMG actually this Friday, but yeah, there's still a lot going on, Austin.
That's right, and it's been a positive, winter training period for a lot of our Yas, and that's always exciting, Pat. So definitely some good stuff to cover today.
That's right. And speaking of some good stuff to cover, over a player in England secured a crucial point, and a game-tying goal over the weekend.
And we also want to talk about some of those Yas getting first-team minutes in friendlies. So all that and more in this episode. So to start with today, we're going to talk about Gio Reyna. And Gio actually played 70 minutes in Dortmund's first-team friendly against Standard Liège, and he actually scored his first goal and registered his first assist for the first team, Pat. So congrats to him. You know, that was in Dortmund's 4-2 win, I believe. So yeah, big moment for Gio, Pat.
That's awesome, Austin. I mean, big props to him. He's certainly got big footsteps to fill with his father, but definitely from the athletic ability from his family, you can definitely tell is going to be a star in the making. And I know we talked about a little bit off camera, but it seems like he's following the path of the great former great of Dortmund, Pulisic.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So, Gio really made an impression in this winter training period. That was something that, we were asking of him going into this break. And it sounds like Lucien Favre has really, taken to Gio. He seems like a player that, Lucien is starting to really kind of fall in love with. And, it just came out today as well that Gio will be a part of the Dortmund first team squad full time in the spring. So, Pat, that doesn't mean he won't play in U19 games over the spring session of the calendar of the Bundesliga season, but it just means that he'll be, a regular participant in first team training with Dortmund. So definitely exciting. And kind of like you said, Pat, it seems like, Gio is following in the footsteps of Christian Pulisic at Dortmund. And, if you take a look back at Christian's, I guess, debut season, which was, I believe, the 15-16 calendar year, Christian played pretty much solely with the U19 team in the fall, then went over, with Dortmund's first team for their winter training and, really impressed. I believe scored in a friendly or two, and then, came back and I believe made his debut in the DFB Pokal either at the end of January or early February, and, made substitute appearances throughout the spring, and then finally started in, Dortmund's second to last or third to last game of the season. And, the rest is kind of history. You saw that crucial or, how should I say, iconic goal for Dortmund where, he did the little dab on the crowd. So hopefully Gio can, change it up and do like the futsal shuffle on the crowd over in Dortmund or something. Pat.
Yeah, right. Some of the what are the kids are doing nowadays? But yeah, Austin, I think. I think, for Gio, which is really exciting about him as a prospect, is just his maturity and size. He just seems like, especially with the U19s, way above class there in terms of physicality and just technical ability, under his awareness, his field vision. Everything just seems to be accelerating and advancing for him at such a great pace, and his trajectory is just incredible. And I don't see why even his adjustment period with the first team in training, we wouldn't even see a step up or even higher or loftier goals by the end of the season, because I just think he has such raw and technical ability with that kind of frame of his.
Yeah, you bring up all good points. You know, he does have a very big frame. I believe he's like 6'1" or 6'2", and you know, the other thing, Pat, too, to combine with that athleticism and you know, good body size, is the ball just sticks to his feet. He's kind of got that, you know, Christian Pulisic-esque. You know, can think of some other players like Mohamed Salah. You know, even Sadio Mane. Just the type of player that has, you know, the ball kind of glued to his feet and can kind of weave his way through traffic. It seems like Gio has that, you know, ability, which is really exciting, especially with that body size. And, you know, he's only 17 right now, Pat. So hopefully he continues to grow into his frame and, you know, gets more muscular and starts to really understand how to use, you know, that body weight and size to his advantage. So, yeah, I mean, Christian Pulisic was obviously a really talented player as a youngster growing up, and, you know, is very fast and has a lot of, you know, great physical attributes. But it seems like to me, you know, Gio has, you know, as good of, if not better, physical attributes to go with the same type of technical abilities. So, you know, that's really exciting for me, Pat. And
yeah, I couldn't agree more, Austin.
Big stars.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everything you said, just because, like we talked about, just following the footsteps here. And it seems like Dortmund's got a great thing going on with some of our highly touted young players here. And he's got many more years to shine and develop. And, you know, I'm really excited to see, you know, Gio day in and day out consistently, you know, hopefully start for the Dortmund first team. Because I certainly think that's you know, definitely a goal he can take, and you know, thinking far down the future, but maybe we'll see him in the Premier League as well.
Yeah, right. Following his father's footsteps, you know, maybe at Man City or something.
That's right.
Maybe those you know, City Group relations have kind of fizzled out from the way he left, I guess, NYC. But yeah, another random thing out there. I don't know exactly why I'm bringing this up, but I thought it was kind of cool to see. It seems like him and Erling Braut Haaland, you know, Pat, the striker from Red Bull Salzburg.
Right.
It seems like they've kind of struck up a partnership. They've been in, you know, a few Instagram posts together and stuff like that. So, you know, it's obviously a player that Dortmund are, you know, really excited to get in their team, and is one of the best, you know, young strikers in the world. So, you know, maybe we see, you know, hopefully he can strike up a relationship with Jadon Sancho and Marco Reus, but maybe we see, you know, Gio assisting to Haaland in the future, and that partnership can kind of flourish. But yeah, that's you know, that's kind of all from Gio. You know, we'll continue to monitor his progress. Hopefully he can you know, break through finally for Dortmund, and yeah, really kind of, you know, get his name out there and show people what he can do. So with that being said, Pat, I'm going to throw it over to you. And who are we going to talk about now?
We are going to talk about Duane Holmes, Austin, over in the English Championship with Derby County. So just to kind of recap again, Duane started and played 90 this past weekend in a 2-2 draw against Middlesbrough. He actually scored in the 90th minute, the game-tying goal. And to describe the goal a little more for you viewers, it was really exciting. The ball kind of was cleared out, not too far, but outside the 18, and Duane Holmes just incredible volley, I think, with the right foot, put it in the right side of the net, and just, you know, smashed it into the bottom, and you know, secured a crucial point, as Derby isn't as successful as they were last year under Lampard and with Mason Mount, you know, vying for that playoff spot in the championship. But now they're in 17th, but now they're 10 points clear of that relegation area of the 24 teams there. So I think the bottom three get relegated. So they're, you know, safe from there, but not the greatest season overall. Nonetheless, great impact from Duane Holmes, Austin, you know, to make a mark on this game. Yeah,
it was a really nice goal too. And like you said, Pat, it was crucial for them to get, you know, a point there late on. Definitely kind of an impact, you know, play, an impact goal from Duane. So really exciting. I think, you know, even though Derby haven't been as successful this year, you know, kind of like you alluded to, Pat, they kind of gone through a transition period where, you know, they had Frank Lampard last year, kind of really grew to his, I guess, coaching style. And, you know, the new manager who came in is obviously, you know, a little different, and it's taken time to kind of figure things out there. So, yeah, we'll see what I guess Derby can do in the second half of the season, and Duane should be
That's right.
part of that.
Yeah, and excited to see Duane being such a crucial part, and reading reviews and seeing some of the highlights that Duane has overall performed very well for Derby. Has been starting since the fall, and the key has been just staying injury free since that October timeframe all until now, playing most of the time 90 minutes, if not, to 80, 85 minutes a game, which is great to see him on the field in a high level league. And unfortunately, he's still being overlooked. I know some people are still, again, he's not our first choice midfielder per se, but I still think he could be a crucial, asset for the team moving forward, kind of reignite some energy. That's what a lot of Derby fans say about him. And some of his highlights is, he's a little guy, but he plays with his heart out and his heart on his chest, but he also has some skill to go with it and speed. So he definitely has some tools that the U.S. should, look to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think if we don't see Duane at some point early on in 2020, either in March or, whenever the next friendlies are in May or June, then yeah, I think, we would all kind of have some issues with that. He's put in a lot of time this year in getting first team minutes with Derby, and has really produced and become kind of a consistent playmaker for them. So, championship level players are definitely players who I think, would have qualities that could help make our USMNT better. So, I'm all for Derby, for Duane getting minutes with the USMNT this year. I think that needs to happen. I'm in agreement with you, Pat.
Yeah, and that will be the true question, I guess, going forward, and we'll kind of wait and see. And I'm not sure if Greg wants to see more, output from him in terms of getting the volume of goals and assists up. Again, I'm no scout here, but I definitely I know, again, there's been some talks and just reading online that there's some MLS players over him, and again, there are some really good MLS players. I'm not arguing that, but just to kind of maybe see Duane in there and get another shot, get some more camps, and hopefully that's the case, because like I just don't want to reiterate too much, Austin, but I still think he can be such a useful player, a utility player that we can have to, especially in a case where that Trinidad and Tobago game was so south, and we've had other games like that throughout the years. We're just someone to kind of put on in the second half that can, change things and make an impact and put the energy up a little bit. Yeah,
I agree completely. So we'll have to, I guess, keep our eye on that and hope the best for Duane in this spring session, and hope he stays healthy, because like you said, he should be an impact player for us. So now moving on to Germany, we want to talk about Josh Sargent. So Josh started the first half of Werder Bremen's friendly with Hanover this past weekend, and in that first half, Pat, he scored a brace. So he scored 2 goals. Both goals were pretty good. The first one came off of a nice ball into the box where he took kind of a heavy touch, but then finished the volley. And then the second one came off of another good cross into the box, and it was a headed goal into the net. So, Pat, great to see Josh Sargent scoring. That's kind of the thing we've been looking for from him for, his time he's been getting at Bremen. And, Bremen sit in a really bad spot, Pat. They sit in 17th in the Bundesliga.
That's rough.
Relegation zone. And the first game they have back as well, Pat, is a game against Dusseldorf, who sit in 16th. So if they don't win that game or get points, they could be looking at a growing deficit, and a position they really don't want to be in, and definitely didn't envision coming into the season. So
yeah, Austin, that's almost like that's tough, especially for Sargent, the development that he's had, and hopefully that he can kind of be the one to get some more minutes and turn things around. But that game that you mentioned is almost a lose-lose if you're an American fan.
Yeah, really. You have Zach Steffen and Alfredo Morales on one side, and Josh Sargent on the other. So definitely a tough call. Either way, it seems like, at the moment, one of those teams is, is going to be in a bad position, heading into the spring period. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think Bremen are the team that's kind of been in the Bundesliga longer, so I would kind of like to see them stay up, Pat. But what are your thoughts? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I know you planted that seed in my head a little bit, just because I'm in agreement now too, and it would almost be interesting. I don't know if it would happen at all, but I feel like Zach Steffen does deserve to be on a little higher level of a Bundesliga team, and maybe with Düsseldorf going down, I don't know.
A little sabotage,
Yeah.
Josh score a few goals in this game. And,
yeah, but I'm in agreement. I think Josh and his position needs to stay in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, and hopefully, he can get that opportunity to kind of, be the player that Bremen relies upon to lift them out of this funk this year. And it seems like in this winter training period that he's gotten a lot of minutes at striker. He finally, came back from injury, one that kept him out of, games from the end of November on. And it looks like, Florian Kohfeldt, the manager there at Bremen, is kind of trying, everything he can in this winter period to reignite his team. And scoring a brace in this last friendly for Bremen should definitely bode well for him. And like I said, this game this weekend coming up is such a big game for them. And right now Josh seems to be in good form with his club, so hopefully he gets the nod in this game and can help Bremen get their season back on track.
That's right, Austin. I think that would almost be such a great next step or a huge goal for him for the second half of the season, just to get back on track and get a high volume of goals for the second half of the season and keep them above that relegation zone. I think that'd be a huge win, and Bremen would definitely see the value of starting him going forward.
Yeah, he I was just looking up real quick. He's got 2 goals on the season, so like I stated before, he was out basically from the later part of November on. So,
right.
He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in 11 Bundesliga matches. So, definitely, I would say, well, not bad production, but definitely not, definitely good production from the minutes he had. Not all of those minutes came in starts either. So, I think, it might be tough to achieve, but I think Josh should be aiming for, I would say 10 goals, Pat. I think
I like that too. I was about to say at least like 8. At least 8.
Yeah. Play, I want to say they play about what is it, like 17 more games in the second half of the season. So, 8 goals in 17 games is not, impossible. Obviously he's gonna have to get minutes to do it. So
right, that's the key there.
Perform well to start the second half of the season and kind of earn those consistent minutes. But I think with Josh Sargent, we got to start aiming a little bit higher with him and setting the bar a little bit higher, because he's proven in this first part of the season that he's finally gotten his feet at Bremen. He's finally I think comfortable in Germany and playing professional football or soccer. So I think now it's all about taking his game to the next level and really becoming a main striker for a Bundesliga team. So yeah, Pat, do you have anything else to add about Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all rooting for him definitely, and it'd be just great, like we mentioned, for him to take this second half of the season by storm and reignite, get some more goals going there for the club, and then reignite for the country, because we certainly need that, Austin. A striker position is huge for us. Yeah,
hey, maybe we see him score some goals in Tokyo too, and help us win a gold medal. So yeah, that's all for this part of our episode today. A little bit shorter, but now let's head over to Quick Kicks.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's none other than Quick Kicks.
So you could test Duane Miller. It's Altidore over the wall, and that one is in! Josie Altidore from a long way out. The opening goal for the United States.
So to start Quick Kicks today, we have Richy Ledezma. And Richy played the whole second half of PSV's friendly game against KAS Eupen over the weekend. So congrats to Richy getting that first team friendly action, and hopefully we see him make his debut this spring.
And now with Sergino Dest, a little update in terms of his camp. He actually left the Ajax camp in Qatar just due to the political tensions between Iran and U.S. Felt a little uncomfortable over there, and Ajax was kind enough to let him go back to their grounds there, and now he's playing and training with young Ajax, so still getting his minutes in during training, and wish him a strong second half of the season.
And heading over to Mexico, we have Sebastian Saucedo, who made his debut for Pumas, playing 57 minutes, and also scored a goal in their 2-1 win over Pachuca. So great to see Sebastian starting off life quickly in Mexico.
All right, Sebastian. And heading over to the Premier League, Austin, we have Indiana Vassilev. He made the bench again for the Premier League game for Aston Villa, but unfortunately they took a 6-1 thrashing to Man City.
Yeah, that was a brutal game. Unfortunately, I watched it because I wanted to see him come in.
Yeah, right. So we thought it would happen, but.
And moving over to the Netherlands, Haji Wright played the final 8 minutes of VVV Venlo's 1-1 draw with Kortrijk and actually scored the goal for them. So good to see Haji back on the score sheet.
All right, and heading over to France, Nico Gioacchini for Caen started and played 61 minutes. Unfortunately, they lost 2-1 to Lorient, but also wanted to say congrats to Nico for winning Caen's Player of the Month from the supporters. So supporters love his effort, and he's had a really good year.
Yeah, that's really good to see and promising. And going over to Germany, we have Taylor Booth. And Taylor scored a goal in Bayern U19's friendly game over the weekend. So good to see him on the score sheet as well.
Heading over to Sunderland with our boy Gucci Bra, Lynden Gooch, started and played 85 minutes, got an assist, and also picked up the W on a 4-0 win against Wycombe. So congrats to Sunderland and Lynden there. Yeah,
and staying in England, we have Matt Olosunde, who started and played all 90 minutes in Rotherham United's big 3-1 win over Oxford United. So, good for them. They go to the top of the League One table. So, definitely encouraging stuff from Matt's team.
And heading over to the English Championship, Antonee Robinson and Wigan. Robinson started and played the full 90, but unfortunately they fell 2-0 to Bristol City, and that kind of puts them towards near the bottom of the table there. So a little concerning. We don't want to see them end up in League One.
Yeah, really. And going back to Germany, we have Sebastian Soto. So Sebastian started and played 82 minutes in Hanover's 3-1 friendly loss to Bremen. But unfortunately, his performance wasn't that great, and his coach had some words for him at the end of the game. And basically, he said that if Sebastian plays like he did in this game, he has no chance of playing for Hanover in the spring. So, Pat, those are not encouraging words after, we heard about Sebastian's contract talks over the summer. They didn't go so well. He was pushing for a move to a bigger club. And, it sounds like he'll get that opportunity this summer, but definitely not encouraging to hear, his performance and his effort and energy is not up to the level that, Hanover are expecting him to be at. So, definitely a situation to monitor. So that's all for episode today. Make sure you give it a like and subscribe down below.
And make sure to check out our awesome social media pages, Instagram, Twitter. We're always providing that great content for you guys.
That's right. And the winter session, it's coming to an end here. So finally we're going to have, full games to talk about, meaningful games to talk about. So definitely, keep up to date by following our channel and staying in the loop. So, exciting times, Pat. We got a big 2020 ahead.
That's right, Austin. We have, this camp coming up right now. Then we have the Olympics in 2020. We have World Cup qualifying, all this good stuff. Austin, it's all going to lead to one thing.
That's right. One day we will win the World Cup.